preproduction lately. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. As always, we ask you to do a couple things to help us out. First, go to our Facebook page, like and share the Facebook page. Then go to Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is
@ComesNaturalPod.
Then please go to iTunes, rate the podcast, review the podcast, and subscribe to the podcast. And now we'll get started. Cody.
Comes naturally, we are
Joe.
Mike.
I am Cody. Welcome to this week's episode, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
We're going to mix things up today,
Mixing it up.
and we're going to start Joe.
Joe.
What am I doing?
Science stuff, go.
Science.
Okay. Brigham Young University scientists have...
AKA BYU.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
They have a
job, man.
basketball team?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is sports teams in general?
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't know that. They're working on new types of... What do you say?
Huh?
What?
No, what? Science stuff, bro. Let's go.
He said nerd.
No, they're working on new types of satellite radiators. This one that they have right here, I know you can't see a picture of it, but this one is off of Engadget, so engadget.com. And then if you want to search for NASA's new satellite radiator, is a work of art. It's actually printed in such a way that is not it, because my thumb hit the picture.
That is an ugly lady.
So
It's a radiator.
Yeah, so it's a radiator. So it actually comes out. So they very much inspired by origami, and the different phases that it's in. So you can have it like this, or you can actually expand it out to a flat sheet. Like this, it can capture solar energy a lot more efficiently and retain it.
Extra angles.
Yeah, because it retains. Because they found out that when you have the divots on the inside, they actually will allow you to retain more solar energy for heat wise, to keep the spacecraft or different components of the spacecraft heated properly, because you don't want things to cool down too much in some cases.
Space is cold as shit.
Yeah. Then they have it. It has the ability to flatten out, and at that point, it becomes a very good solar or energy irradiator. So it'll allow you to give off heat from the spacecraft in case it does start to get too hot. And then they actually have a new skin, essentially, that they're developing for it that will allow it to, excuse me, that it will increase its ability to do both things. So look for something like this on what are known as CubeSats, or like very small satellites that can't take these big, giant radiators that satellites now have. Interesting article I read. I was just perusing before we started here. Apparently, Elon Musk is dropping motors from Tesla Motors' name. It's just changing its name to, according to a tweet by Alistair Charlton. It's Tesla Motors has changed its name to just Tesla.
You know what that means, right?
Dropped the motors from the name. The firm posted the necessary SEC paperwork this morning and comes as Elon Musk moves his business well beyond its original mission. After all, with the purchase of Solar City, launch of Powerwall, and the solar roof, which I really would love the solar roof. Of course, I would love a house first, but one thing at a time. Roof, then house.
Start with the roof.
Start with the roof.
That's what I say. Always start at the top and work your way down.
Tesla is much of an energy company as it is a car maker. So it sounds like they booted the name just because they're bringing much more stuff under the same...
Or they're getting rid of motors.
No.
Well, technically, the electric motor...
Hear me out. Rubber bands. Right? They just pull the
Hey,
car
Mike,
back
real
for
quick.
whatever...
Think about what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Now stop.
Now stop.
Fair
And
enough.
Continue.
But it makes sense, and something that I didn't really realize until I read this is that I knew that Elon Musk was a majority holder in Solar City because it was a cousin of his that started it, and he put a big investment into it. And this past year, he actually bought it out. But I thought that they would just run it as a separate company. But it sounds like they're actually bringing it in within the Tesla
Name brand.
So it'll probably still be Solar City, but it'll be Tesla's Solar City. So that's pretty cool. Anything with Elon Musk is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Even crazy dwarf fights.
Crazy dwarf fights. Oh, and here's another thing I was reading about. So I'm pretty convinced that Boston Dynamics is going to start Skynet.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know who Boston Dynamics is, literally go to YouTube, Google Boston Dynamics, Big Dog, and you will see the craziest thing that you've ever seen, which is a self-stabilizing robot. Four-legged version in this case. They also have another one called Small Dog, I believe it is, and other humanoid ones. This one is literally for shits and giggles. It's called Handle. It's an experimentation in wheeled and two-legged motors. No, it's not open. It's not open.
Oh no, we're gonna die.
So the video, if you go onto YouTube and just search,
shit.
Exactly, that's what I thought of too. You go onto YouTube and just search for Boston Dynamics Handle.
Damn it.
You should find a video of, at least a short video. There's a whole presentation that they had going on. But essentially, they have this robot traveling on two wheels and a barrier in front of it. It then jumps over the barrier and lands on the two wheels and just keeps going. Continuous motion. And that's why I think Boston Dynamics is going to bring about the robot rebellion.
Fair enough.
Sons of bitches.
Well, that's pretty much all I have for sciencey stuff this week.
Yeah.
Cool. Mike.
Yes.
What you got?
The Royal Rumble happened.
Yeah, it did.
Randy Orton won that shit.
How long did your boy last? What's his name?
Ellsworth,
yeah.
from in the ring to out of the ring, roughly 38 seconds.
That's pretty good.
That's because there's other people in there, and they were distracted.
He actually had a pretty funny bit where he remember the origin story of James Ellsworth. He was brought on as a jobber.
Yeah.
Well, the guy that he jobbed his first match to was Braun Strowman. So there's like this little running history of between Strowman and Ellsworth. Every now and then they'll like see each other backstage and he'll get scared and run away. So it was pretty funny. He comes down, his music hits for the Royal Rumble. He comes down, he's all pumped, he's all amped up, and then he realizes that like Strowman was the entry before him, and he basically just wrecked everyone in the ring, and nobody was standing up except for Strowman, and he was just standing there waiting for him to get in the ring, and he wouldn't get in the ring, and people were trying to force him into the ring, and he wouldn't get in the ring. So finally, like, he doesn't get in the ring at all, and so Strowman goes to beat up a couple other people. And then Dean Ambrose music hits, and he comes down, and Ambrose and Ellsworth don't. Ambrose doesn't like Ellsworth either, but he's like, Strowman's still standing right there waiting for him now at this point, and Ambrose is getting all amped up, and he's telling like Ellsworth like, yeah, we're gonna get him, me and you, we'll get him, and he's like miming it with his hands and stuff, and he's like, you ready? 1, 2, 3, and he takes 2 steps, and Ellsworth is all amped up now. Ellsworth slides into the ring, and Ambrose just walks away, and he hangs out outside, and then Strowman beats him up for a second and picks him up, and he took one of the gnarliest hits I've ever seen in any match at all. Strowman picks him up and throws him out of the ring, not onto somebody, like he's just throwing him out to the floor, but Ellsworth's foot hits the rope because he doesn't get up quite as high, and he just basically falls from all the way from like a good like 3 feet above the ropes all the way to the floor. It's just a straight thud hit on his hip, and I was like, oh well, now he can never walk again. And I'm still not 100% convinced he can, because I haven't seen him since then, and I'm not sure he can walk.
Doesn't matter. Boston Dynamics is gonna give him new legs.
Yep.
New legs with wheels.
You can jump over cones.
Jump over cones, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. But the pay-per-view in general was real fun. Not a lot of big surprises like we were hoping. Mm-hmm. You know, Randy Orton winning is not one of those when I talked about last week. It's always a handful of people. That kind of felt like he's one of those handful of people that
was
there.
going to win.
Yeah. Which is kind of a bummer, but it was all right. Match of the night though is definitely John Cena, AJ Styles for the title.
Yeah,
that was pretty dope. It went about 35 minutes or so, and just as much as like people get annoyed with John Cena because his character's basically been the same for the last 7 years, and he's been towards the top of the industry for the last 10 or 12 years. People are kind of bored with him. They think he's corny. He always cuts the same promos, but that's not 100% true. He switches it up, variations a little bit, but when it comes time for like a big match, like again Royal Rumble for the title, big match feel, dude delivers every time. Like he hardly ever has a bad match. And then AJ Styles is a supreme in-ring competitor, and they killed it, man. They definitely stole the show. So that one was a lot of fun. Rumble was good, had some good comedy spots like it always does. Had a couple surprises, but yeah.
But
nice.
No Kenny Omega.
No Kenny Omega, no Samoa Joe, which Samoa Joe debuted the following night on Monday Night Raw. So at least he has his angle going into Mania. So at least Joe's gonna have something going on. So that's pretty cool. But
yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it was a fun show. Fun show. That's it. That's all I got.
Cool.
Boom, Mike's Wrestling Minute.
Yeah.
So, what's up?
Yeah.
What's new in movies?
Any stuff you want to bring up?
You didn't do any show prep, Cody?
Yeah.
No show prep?
Right?
Kinda. I looked at some stuff.
What'd you look at?
Gets
Mostly
after
my
us.
controller.
The Division
while I was
kind of
playing
taking
The
over
Division.
all of our lives here.
No, I mean it's been
mine.
sort of a slow week-ish in a way.
Your life has been taken over by The Division, your wife, and sports.
Yeah, see? Boom. There you go.
And work.
Suck it.
All that work that you do.
Work.
A lot of movies, big name movies, have start production.
We're 1 week away from John Wick 2.
Woo!
Yeah,
We are.
1 week.
We are 1 week away. As of the recording, we're technically, 10 days away, or 9 days, I guess you really could say. But when this goes up on the internets, it'll be a week because it's on the 10th. Let's see, the Han Solo movie, nicknamed Red Cup.
Because it's Solo.
Mm-hmm. So look up.
Yes. Some people were saying, well, it's actually technically a cone. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, when an engine fires, I'm like, no,
it's not that type of thing.
Solo
Cup.
They're like,
Dummies.
oh, I'm like, oh, you're fucking stupid. Because it's a Han Solo movie.
Mm-hmm.
Makes funny. It would have been funnier if they because the logo is just a Star Wars red cup.
Mm-hmm.
It'd been cool if they had a picture of a red cup with like a bandolier on.
That would be pretty funny.
Pretty rad.
I did see somebody post a picture of the what is the little clicky thing called? The scene thing?
The slate?
Slate, there we go. And it had a red cup sitting in front of it.
Oh,
that
nice.
was pretty funny.
That's
but if they would have added bandolier going across it, that would have been better.
Yeah. Full production on Black Panther started this week. Laura Croft started this week, or the new Tomb Raider. We don't actually know what it's called. It's called Tomb Raider at this point. There's something else too, and I can't remember what it was. Those are starting off. Still news. It's funny because Aquaman started pre-production. They actually did a sit down with the principal cast to go over script because the script is solid. It's done. It's been approved, and here it is. But just recently, when I say just recently, like today, it was announced. Where's he at? I don't know the guys. I'm gonna butcher his name, so I'm not gonna try to tell you what it is. Let me get back to the story real quick. It was either today or yesterday. I can't remember what day it was that I saw it. But they basically found the actor to play Black Manta, which is usually the number one bad guy against him. Mm-hmm. So that'll be it. It's the guy from the Get Down. I can't remember his name. It's a really bizarre name. So that's pretty interesting. But let's see. Nothing else really big like that. We're getting ready to ramp up for the first group of big movies for the year. February has a bunch, obviously, as Joe said. John Wick 2. Couple potential stinkers in there as well, with The Great Wall being one of them. Could potentially be pretty fucking bad.
I'm gonna call it right now. I can definitely see that movie not making very much money.
Yeah, for sure.
And
that's probably true.
The biggest reason is because it's kind of a confusing movie in that who's your target audience for it. To me, I'm pretty sure that we're gonna go see it.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a good enough action movie to go see, and it's gonna be pretty interesting to learn what the in movie history is, why the wall was really built to keep out these dragons, and what the fuck is going on, and why is Matt Damon there.
It's true. I mean, we kind of get from the first full length trailer, you kind of get a little bit of why he's there.
But
now
you still don't know exactly like why is this white dude in Asia.
Yep. So yeah, that's pretty fun. Big video game news also
What's
around
that?
Marvel stuff is the partnership between Marvel and Disney technically, but Marvel in particular and Square Enix. And it's funny because Square Enix has not been mentioned in any of the news other than the fact that they're the parent company for it.
Right.
But they are making a partnership to make new Avengers video games. It says here, the one article I just pulled up, it says video game, but it's already been said that they're making multiples.
Yeah, there was an Avengers one.
Avengers ones we know of because that's when they show.
Yeah.
Because they show Cap's shield, Iron Man's gauntlet, Hulk's glasses, and of course the ripped open door. You see Thor's hammer. I think broken arrows. I think you saw too, and like something black for Black Widow too. But yeah, basically saying that hey, we're working on an Avengers game. But then there's been rumblings of and the two teams that we know of are making games right now for them are Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal. Those are the two teams that were Crystal Dynamics and Eidos were the ones behind the last two Tomb Raider games, the newest two, and then Eidos is the only manufacturer, only publisher or creator of the Deus Ex games.
Right.
So that's
all
a
of
pretty
which
good
are fantastic
yeah.
games,
I mean,
so
it's really good pedigree for
exactly
good games. But the one big one that kind of came out rumored wise, the first one was a Splinter Cell style Black Widow game. So it'll be stealth espionage type thing, which would be pretty
amazing
fucking
because we haven't had a Splinter Cell game in a long time. Really,
Blacklist was the last one, right? Was that the last one? Right?
Convictions, I think.
Was it Conviction? I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was good. I remember it was different than the other ones because it was a little more action-y.
Yes.
And less stealthy.
Yeah.
Because you had all your gadgets and stuff, but it was really fun. I liked it a lot. They
Yeah.
needed to change up a little bit, and I think it did really well. But the problem is, like, Splinter Cell's never been like a mass-selling game.
No.
You know?
They tried to make build multiplayer into it. It's not the greatest thing because it's 4 on 4.
Yeah.
2 on 2. It's been a while since I played it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I absolutely love those games just because they were very slow, very meticulous on what you had to do.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, when I think it is Convictions when they introduced the 3 different play styles that you could do and get points for.
Yep.
But then you actually had the other character that was more of a first person shooter type character that changed the game up a lot.
Yeah, very much so. And the other game, so we had the Avengers game, the Black Widow game, and then another slight leak of internal memos was a Guardians of the Galaxy game, which will be the second game up for that, because the first one's going to be a Telltale Games, one that's already been announced that they're working on, which I think with Guardians is a really good...
if they can nail the script for it, it could be a really good game.
Yeah, because with Telltale Games, they're very story-driven.
Yeah.
I haven't played the Batman one.
I haven't heard very good things.
And I haven't heard very good things at all about. So
I still don't know what the Telltale games are. I see them advertised all the time, and I have no idea.
They're like a choose your own adventure in a way.
They look different.
Yeah,
I'm looking at them.
They're more interactive storytelling than they are video game. I guess you could really say, like, choose. Do you want to punch this person in the face or talk it out with them? You're like, you punch him in the face, and all of a sudden you made an enemy for life and things like that sort of thing. But yeah, pretty interesting. But yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy game. There's no details on what it is, but it is one of the ones that they're working on because basically they'll have their free reign of any of the Marvel cinematic universe that they can play with, which is really cool.
A new Avengers game would be super dope because was it Ultimate Alliance was the last?
Ultimate Alliance, yeah.
That was PS2,
3,
early PS3.
Early PS3, I think it was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that on 360?
See, I had a friend who had a PlayStation 3.
It was on, I think.
So
It was a
I don't
long
know
time
about the
ago, though.
Xbox.
We could probably look it up. I'm not gonna.
But it was
yeah,
a lot of fun though.
those games were really fun. Yeah. It was cool because those ones were Marvel, like all of Marvel. So it's like had the X-Men and the Avengers in it, which is pretty
Blade.
cool. Yeah, like everybody.
Had
So,
like a bunch of weird mini games in it too.
yeah,
Remember?
the second one did. Yeah.
Like, well, the first one too is remember you got Blade out of like a
Claw machine?
claw
Was that
machine.
the first one?
No.
No, it might have been. Been a long time since
I remember that.
I played it.
It's weird.
So that's another big. I guess is kind of in our wheelhouse too. Infinity Ward released full details on Raven the Woods, which is the second zombie DLC for Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Where if you remember the first one we talked about, you get a NPC that goes around with you of David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
This one, you actually get a playable character of Kevin Smith,
Which is hilarious.
which you unlock. So once you do the objective, get it, you get to run around as Kevin Smith, shooting zombies and other creatures that are in it.
That's fucking
Yeah,
hilarious.
so it's pretty fun, and it's not like him voicing it; it's like physically him in the game.
Yeah.
So it's pretty.
But it would
pretty
add
dope.
to it if he would voice it. And
Oh, he
just
voices it too.
say
Yeah, he's just saying random shit. Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
pretty
smoked this dude.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty fun. Let's see other news. On the other side, DC. There's been we talked a little bit about the Aquaman. How they're sitting down and getting ready for that. The Flash script, which by the way, Flash still doesn't have a director because that director bounced as well. They're doing a rewrite for page one rewrite. Basically, what that means is a overall start, like fresh start for it, because they have what they think is the story they want to go with, but a page one is they want to start differently into the story, so they're rewriting that, but they have time because that's not expected to like 2019, so we got some time to wait.
Still sucks though that they've lost the director, and now it seems like they're pretty much rewriting it.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of thing.
Sure, it happens a lot more, but
Yeah, but like not as. I mean, we're kind of in it, like
yeah,
deep in that world already. It's not. Marvel did the same thing with Ant-Man, for example. They
Yeah.
lost the director because they wanted to change things, and I mean they changed the plot quite a bit.
Yeah.
This sounds more like they just want to start it differently. I think they want to tie it into what's happening in the other realms. But also in DC news, Batman, the solo Batman movie featuring Ben Affleck, or as Mike likes to call him, Batfleck.
Mm-hmm.
He has stepped away from being director. His statement was because it was too hard to focus on being the character he wants to have on the screen and being able to direct the movie. I can't remember his exact words, but he said it's more than just standing in front of a camera saying lines. The character is so much more detailed in what you have to do that it's too hard to focus on both
And
things.
the scale of it too.
Yeah.
He was talking about the scale of it being too much to be in the lead role and also directing all the other side things that have to happen at the same time. So, I mean, people are freaking out because the last time he said something, he said, we're going to make sure it's great before we really get started on it. And that was like, oh, he's got second thoughts about Batman. I'm like, well, no, that's not what he said at all. And then this one is because, like, I thought all along, like, him directing a Batman movie would be cool.
Right.
But then, like, thinking about it, like, that's got to be a fucking pain in the dick. It seems like the closer you get to it, the more they realize it's probably not a good idea to have your lead in a big, huge budgeted action movie like this also be your director.
Yeah.
But he said he's in on the process of finding somebody to collaborate with to be the director. It's not like he's stepping away from it. He's still part on writing. He's still hard on producing. You know what I mean? He's still the driving force behind it. So I think people are just freaking out like, oh, he doesn't want to do Batman. It's like,
no, calm down, guys.
Let's let it happen first before people start freaking out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's give it Kevin Smith, the director.
There's a lot of people talking about that.
They're not great friends, but I mean they're friends. I would assume
friends. I think Kevin Smith could do it too.
Oh, I would think in a heartbeat.
I mean, Kevin came out and even said that it's, he hasn't read the script. He said he doesn't know anything about the movie, but from what what DC's doing in the cinema, it's not what he would do with everything. Because it's very different than what because he's now done an episode of the Flash. Well, 2 episodes of the Flash. We haven't seen the second one.
I think it's in the second one. Did you?
Have we seen
the second one? 2 episodes of Flash.
He did
Supergirl.
He wants to do an Arrow.
He's gonna do a Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, he's gonna do Legends of Tomorrow, but he wants to do an Arrow
also.
So yeah, he made the comment that their version is different.
People are reaching out to him for Gotham too.
Yeah,
so you can do an episode of Gotham. Like that's starting to get public, but his episodes have garnered like a lot of like praise too. So
yeah,
I mean he's gonna like no sell it like the enormity of the deal.
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone will ever approach him. Like doubtful that Kevin Smith's gonna get approached with a huge budgeted movie like this. But if you think about it, with everything already in place, he's a dude that mechanically speaking, he could do everything you need to do as a director on this. And obviously with a great passion for the character itself, probably will guaranteed more so than any other director on the face of the planet.
Care more about it than
exactly.
Than anything else.
Right. And then, like I said, with the enormity of this production, you kind of feel like everything else is kind of set up. Like he's just gotta have to go in there and direct traffic, basically. Which, again, mechanically speaking, he's as good as director as anybody. So I think it would be super dope. Probably wouldn't move the meter for like mass fans, but I don't think at this point the director is really gonna determine whether people are or aren't gonna see this movie. What determines whether people are or aren't going to see this movie is one, Justice League, how that does, and the trailers for it is gonna, you know what I mean? So, but I'm all for Kevin Smith, man. I think that'd be huge.
Who would you want to see
outside of Kevin Smith?
Yeah,
Darren Aronofsky.
I was thinking of something similar to that. Yeah,
that was the first thing I thought.
Someone who can handle the darkness of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I posted some on the Twitter the other day on my personal account, not the show's account, about it. But I would like to see either I'm gonna fuck his last name up pretty bad, but he's so there's the co-directors of John Wick 1, either one of them,
right?
I'd like to see do it because they're very gritty.
Yes.
You have Chad Stalinski, I think is what it is. He is the co-director from the first one, and he's the only director on the second, on Chapter 2. And then there's David Litchin, who was the co-director of John Wick 1, and is now the director for Deadpool 2.
Nice.
And I also like to think of Deadpool director number 1, which was Tim Miller.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a thing too. Be really good because they all three of those guys have a very good eye for action. But what gives David Litchin a little bit better, or Litch a little better of an insight, is he's a stuntman as well. He's done tons of stunt work, so he knows how action looks and how to make it look real on there too, and that's what made John Wick so amazing because like people were punching and it looked legit, the gun work and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to see what those guys could do with it. But
yeah, it's a very strong candidate.
I would say it's great. I mean, he's in full swing right now for pre-production on Deadpool 2. And we had some time, but since we still have a floating date for both those movies. He has time, but he might just be a little too busy with Deadpool 2 to actually get into the chair. But we can see what happens.
There you go, Ben.
Yeah,
Make your choice.
a couple choices if you want to do that. But yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting, and I think it's a good choice for Ben to step away from the director's chair on that too, just because it physically, it's a pretty demanding role, and having to eyeball all of that, and bat suits aren't exactly known for the best awareness of stuff around you.
Yeah.
So it would be a lot of work of him being in a scene, watching it back, and then having to readjust everything, where someone could do it on the fly and just be like, "Hey, Ben, what do you think?" Because I'm pretty sure whoever they go with is going to work very well with him. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised if it was like a co-directing with, but I still think it's going to be more of one versus the other. And then, like Mike was saying, there's Rumble's been around, but one of the things that Deadline reported, which is fucking garbage, is that Ben's trying to find his way out of being in the Batman solo movie, which is just fucking garbage. But I think it was because it was started by somebody saying, "Oh, he doesn't want to do it anymore," because those people are always wanting to doubt everything. I mean, it happened with everything. It happened with Robert Downey Jr. with the Iron Man movies, like 3, for example, Iron Man 3. After he did so many times of Iron Man on screen, like, "Oh, Iron Man 3 is never gonna happen," and boom, Iron Man 3 comes out, and arguably one of the better ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with that. But I think having a separate director is gonna be good too. But it's nice that Ben is. I think he's more committed that way as well. And I think it's gonna help him just be a little better Batman than what he would have been.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, I liked him as Batman. I mean, we haven't really seen a lot of him as Batman, but like what we've seen so far is pretty good. I think.
I think so too.
Yeah. So that's a pretty fun one. Let's see. Kong Skull Island is in full effect because it comes out in a month. Let's see what else. Oh, we were talking about earlier today while we were hanging out is the one of the big action scenes for the new Black Panther movie is a South Korea car chase scene. The details have come out about it. Okay, again, we don't really know overall what the movie is solely about. They gave us a brief overview about it, but this is a cool little sequence they're talking. This is a cool sequence they're talking about because they're gonna have upwards of 150 cars, over 700 people, and it's gonna be the chase is gonna be between the protagonist and the main villain. So that's pretty fun.
That's gonna be huge.
I mean, yeah, it's a pretty massive. I mean,
Yeah.
that's I mean, thinking about 150 cars and 700 people. I mean, that's fucking crazy amount of stuff. You know what I mean? And to get all that going, that's like, I mean, it would be amazing if it was like a continuous shot.
Oh,
They're just
that's what I
like,
was
fuck
thinking.
it, children,
One
man, the
shot
fuck out
and
of
they're
this.
Yeah.
Hope
flying
you
all
get it
over the
right,
place.
because guess what? We'll digitize everything else.
Yeah, right.
So
We'll
yeah,
fix
and
it
they're
in post.
yeah, so it's gonna be pretty cool. Should be pretty fun. What else was there? I'm trying to think if there's any other real big news. Like I said, it was kind of lackluster this past week.
Yeah.
The guy who wrote the Justice League script is helping Batfleck write the script for Batman. And the article I read was they're bringing him in to help align the universe, not to rewrite Ben's script. Is it to basically go over what, because I don't know if you guys noticed or not how this works. An actor in a movie may not actually know everything that happens in a movie.
Right.
If he's not, say, the only star in it.
Yeah.
So, for example, a Batman solo movie, pretty sure Batman's going to know everything that happened in it.
Right.
An ensemble piece, he's going to miss out on quite a bit of it when writing, especially when they're in tandem. Because, yes, Justice League principal filming is done, but I guarantee you Ben is a little too busy to watch all the dailies and have seen the rough cut that has been seen by executives So he may not know everything that's happening, but also if there's stuff in his script that contradicts stuff that happens in the Justice League script, that's why they're bringing in that guy. So don't get all crazy like, oh, he's leaving the script too. No, they're bringing him in to bring that script and story in line with everything else.
This kind of shit happens all the time
Yes.
on movies. All the time. It just blows my mind how the coverage for this has been so big on the internet. I think it's because people are like, oh, Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad, nobody liked them. I'm like, well, a lot of people liked them. It did a shit ton of money. You know what I mean? Like, and they're still working out the kinks. Like, it's not panic time. It's not time to turn these movies into, again, I say
they're not
Marvel movies.
They're not Sonying and redoing them 3 years after they come out.
This kind of shit. Remember everyone was tripping balls about Rogue One because that was getting reshoots?
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, it's going to be a bomb. It's like, no, dude, they got reshoots to do. Like, this shit happens a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with Rogue One, I mean, we talked about on here.
And that is a perfect example of something where they took a look at the script that they had and the story going forward, and they're like, well, it doesn't really work out. So that's what the reshoots were.
Yeah, and the reshoots, like, a lot of people are like, oh, they redid the ending. No, they redid some of the shots from the ending because they changed how it worked out. Spoiler, in the original script, not all of them died at the end on the Scarif base. A lot of them got out. Then someone said, hey, odd question. Why aren't we see them in other movies? Fuck. So, like, to make it fit with the other movies, and people are like, oh, because it didn't feel like a Star Wars movie. No. Is because it changed what would happen. Because if you have these characters that are so important to a story, like Rogue One, like, you know, Jyn Orso, and I'm spacing on his name right now, Cassian.
Yeah.
They're so important to the rebellion that if they lived, why didn't we see them as being sent to help free Princess Leia?
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing, since that's basically what they do.
Mm-hmm.
They break into stuff to steal people and things out of places.
Yeah.
So if you had someone that was so good they got onto an Imperial occupied only planet to steal the Death Star plans, why didn't they get onto an Imperial starbase and get her off?
Yep.
Well, get her out of jail.
Yeah.
Don't say get her off, because that's a whole different ball game, and that's not what this movie was about. So the reshoots weren't because they weren't happy with it. A lot of the ending stuff they hadn't even shot yet. They just did the easy stuff, you know, people running on the beach or things like that. And people are like, oh, there's like scenes from the trailer. Yeah, because they had to adjust that to change how the story played.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that shit happens, like Mike said, all the time. People blow it out of proportion. They just assume the worst all the time. David Ayer's Suicide Squad's another big example.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, they didn't like it, so they're having him do reshoots. No. They liked it so much that they gave him more money to then do other stuff in it. So they gave him more money to reshoot stuff and add stuff in that he wanted to do that originally they didn't want to spend the money on. But then they saw what he was doing, said, oh, he's actually giving us more than we expected. Here's more money. Go do more of that.
Yeah.
And they were able to do some of that stuff. So just slowly roll, calm down a little bit. Let's let them do. Nothing we say or do is going to make them change their mind now. So you can just slow it down a little bit and just wait to see what happens. If it comes out as a train wreck,
Then it did.
it's what happens. I mean, hopefully it is not. Hopefully it's a, you know, mild crash, if not a fucking tremendous hit. But we're so far away from being like seeing this movie, it shouldn't even be a thought process until we see
Something.
anything come from it. I mean,
Yeah.
the most we've seen is Deathstroke. Like, we've seen him in his costume, but we haven't seen him from the Batman movie yet. We saw him from the Justice League movie.
Yeah.
So, calm down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have shot nothing for this movie other than maybe a couple scenes that they're going to rework for the movie from Justice League. So, we have plenty of time to worry about it later. If you ask me. But, you know, whatever. What else? Terry Hatcher coming to Supergirl as an unspecified role. She'll play a villain. That's what they said so far.
Oh,
Makes sense.
interesting.
Yeah, because a lot of lot of her villains are ladies, which is fine. I mean, it's just
just how
it's better because you don't have a man punching a woman.
Yeah, that's
even if
very,
she's a superwoman, like they get really mad. I mean, look at X-Men Apocalypse, for Christ's sake. The villain of the movie is choking a good guy. Yes, it was probably poor taste of putting on a billboard.
Yeah,
but
wasn't even. We're talking about fucking mutants and supervillains.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
We get it.
Remember, Suicide Squad got all kinds of shit because Batman had to punch Harley Quinn in the face underwater because she was about to kill him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, if you've ever tried to punch someone with actual force underwater, that should tell you that Batman's a fucking beast.
Yeah.
Because, yes, you can punch someone with, air quotes, force, but to be able to knock them out, pretty fucking tough.
Yeah.
Diego Luna, speaking of Rogue One, is eyeing the Scarface remake.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's going to be good. And then Antoine Fuqua is going to be directing that.
Wasn't he also the king?
I'm sorry, he was going to direct it. What?
Wasn't he the king from Shrek?
No.
Oh.
That's Farquaad.
Oh, Farquaad.
This is Fuqua.
Ah.
He's the one that did
same
the Magnificent Seven remake.
That was pretty.
But he's now exiting that because it's stalled too many times. He wants to go on other things.
Fair enough. Yeah.
You guys watched the final trailer for Beauty and the Beast?
Yep.
Nope.
That was a yes from Mike and a no from Joe. If you guys couldn't differentiate,
it was good.
It is tremendous. It basically shows you that it is essentially a shot-for-shot remake of the animated, as we assumed it was. But like, what's amazing about it is you watch it and then, like, just like in the Jungle Book, you see those scenes and you're like, in your brain, you see the animated cells and then it comes to life with real people. I mean, even comes down to the part where, like, dude is like, what's his name? Gaston is looking himself in the mirror and telling himself he's beautiful.
Yeah.
I was
awesome.
like, oh, that's amazing. But they're going to be like, this is going to be a full-on, like, dance sequences and, like, singing in it, too. Because in this trailer, you see more of it, which is amazing.
The trailer got posted, I watched it. It was, like, probably, like, 20 minutes after, like, Disney actually posted it to all their shit. I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's dope. And I'm reading some of the comments. And, like, one of the first, like, 4 comments was like, oh, great. Give me, like, 3 minutes of footage and they give away the whole movie. I was like,
you've seen the movie.
I was like, you've seen this movie.
I hope you've
fucking
seen this movie.
idiots have seen this movie.
And if you haven't seen this movie, like, if you haven't seen the animated one, then this is going to be a tremendous surprise for you.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, it's literally the same movie.
Beast dies. Spoilers.
Jesus, dude. What a dick. You tell him fucking, Snape kills Dumbledore too, you asshole?
No.
Jesus.
Gaston dies.
Gaston.
Wouldn't it be a weird thing is, like, he truly did die, though?
He dies in the...
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
No?
Yeah, he does.
He falls. You don't actually see him die. I was, like, heart ripped out.
They have a little... there's a... If you watch a couple of the frames of animation when he's falling, they actually put little skulls and crossbones in his eyes, which was Disney's way of saying that, yeah, he died.
He's dead? Maybe he just thought he was going to die.
No.
Fair enough.
When you fall from that high, you die.
Nah, it's fine. It's Disney. He bounces.
Nah, if you land in a...
You can eat as many eggs as you want. You're going to die from that fall.
Trailer full of hay.
Just a little cart full of hay. It's like they do in Assassin's Creed from the tallest building in all of fucking land.
Yeah, but that only works in Assassin's Creed.
Oh, my bad.
Only works in Assassin's Creed.
Works in Assassin's Creed. Stranger Things star Millie Bobby Brown has been cast to star in the new Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
Which is, again, now being directed by Michael Daughtry, who was out and now is back in because his other project, which I can't remember the name of, fell through. Which is funny because the reason he left Godzilla is because it was stalling so much. They pushed it back from 2018 to 2019. He wanted to move on because that's a big chunk of time taken away to not work on anything else. So he left. He got basically an offer from Sony to do something, and then they got the deal with they had a deal with someone else for the Marvel stuff and then the other thing, and so the project he was working on was pulled from him. So he was like jobless for a minute, and he's like, well, I'll go back to Godzilla. At least they're gonna pay me for this time away from not working. Because when you're a director, unlike an actor, you can't just fucking skip over and do another movie while you're waiting for this production.
Yeah.
A la Christian Bale. That dude made like 9,000 movies in the span of 3 years, and damn near killed himself twice. But whatever.
The exact number too, 9,000.
It's actually 9,003, but I didn't want to break it up.
No, it's 9,000.
Is it even? Oh, okay, fair enough. Those ones are like just spots. So like with
cameos.
Yeah, can't. Well, they can in contracts. That's why everyone thinks that Batfleck's bouncing before that goes through, because his contract is for technically 6 movies, but it's 4 and then an option for 2 more. And if you do the math properly, he's already been in. He's going to be in 3, because there's Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, and Justice League. All he has to do is appear in one more movie, even if it's like a fucking after credit scene in like Wonder Woman. And his contract's, is up. So
you just see Ben Affleck run out and into the middle of a shot. I'm Batman! I'm Batman! And then runs off.
He's like, I'm Batman, bitches! And then runs away. Like, this is World War One. Why is he here?
He's sitting in the background in a coffee shop.
Every fucking time.
I'm Batman.
This is wearing like a older, dustier Batman suit.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so that's like the thing about directors is like you have to put so much more work in than say a leading actor who, say you're shooting for 6 months, is probably only on shooting for those months.
Mm-hmm.
But a director has another bunch of months, especially if they're really involved in it, like a Spielberg or
because you're putting your
like a
input
Tim Miller,
into
for
the
example, for
pre-production
Deadpool
stuff. You might even be helping with the writing,
Yeah.
just with the set locations and finding all that stuff. And then afterwards, you're like, well, you're balls deep into editing and making sure that what you want to be seen in the final make is what should be
and like
seen.
if you're even a Kevin Smith level, you're editing it yourself for the most part.
Yeah.
But you're also like cutting trailers, you're choosing music, you're sitting down with people to do the scores, like all sorts of shit, you know what I mean? Like
Any
he was
reshoots, you might not even need all the actors, so you just bring back the ones that you want.
Exactly.
You have to be there for it.
Yep. Even like post stuff, like voiceover stuff, like stuff where a voice Batman's not on camera and he says something.
Yeah.
That's you can't catch that in the field because that doesn't exist. Like his voice doesn't echo through the alleyway. It's not real.
He may not even have been in that shot.
Yeah, exactly.
That
the shot of the criminal in the alley.
Blade.
Yeah, you like he's
fucking Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, like motherfucker did like 3 weeks of shooting on a movie that lasted for 8 months. But like you do those scenes where like it's a silhouette of Batman. That might not be him.
No.
Like he just
This is Stuntman.
Yeah, it's this bat stunt man. Stunt Batman.
It's literally just a cardboard
Batman.
cutout.
I was trying to move stunt and it doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, so being a director is a whole lot more work. And we can fans of the show may remember we had 2 guys on here who direct movies.
Yes.
They're currently working on their 3rd movie called Endless, which actually they moved ahead to make from their other one that we talked about on the show when they were on with us. This one actually stars both of them in it.
Oh, awesome.
And they're directing it.
Nice.
So right now the last week they've been in the editing booth, editing down, getting ready for all the film festivals that they most likely are going to sell it to somebody. So yeah, not only are they in it, or they're not only directing it, they wrote it, they're producing it, they starred in it, and they're editing it.
What's the name of it?
Endless.
Endless, right.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty interesting if you think about it.
What the script is on it?
So the premise of the story is they play brothers that grew up in a death cult.
Okay.
And they escaped, and they're basically grew up, and now they're going back to help other people, I guess. And then some crazy, mysterious, supernatural stuff happens.
That sounds dope.
Yeah. It's filmed in San Diego, too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Not all of it. Some of it was filmed in San Diego.
But still.
Yeah. But, yeah, so, like, they've been working on that for well over a year now. Because they started about this time last year on the whole thing, so... And the thing that's an indie movie essentially because a big studio is not paying them to make it. They made it on their own, with finance obviously from their previous movies, but plus a couple other
But
ways
the
of doing
previous
it.
movies have been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, so I mean, it'd be interesting to
And
see.
they've garnered praise from some big name.
Well, Quentin Tarantino
directors.
bought their first one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Tribeca, because that's his company.
Okay. But no, I was thinking of Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Gave him big props.
Yep. Yeah. So, I'm just saying, a director. People always say, "Oh, the director's got the easiest job." No, the director has the hardest job, and he's also normally the first person people blame when shit goes awry.
Mm-hmm.
Just ask Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Or Scott Snyder.
Scott Snyder, yeah.
Scott Snyder. Or no, Zack. I was right. Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Scott Snyder's the comic book writer. Yeah. Just ask Zack because he gets shit all the time, and it's not his fault. Like for a lot of it, and a lot of it could be. I mean, for not being able to do it, but it's definitely not all his fault for the shit that goes down. But
Yeah.
whatever. I think that's really all I got. Punisher is well into shooting for so much stuff right now.
Love it.
Yeah. And rumors are he's actually supposed to surface in the Defenders
Makes sense.
team up thing too.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But Defenders is full swing filming right now. Let's see. They said the script for season 3 of Daredevil is been finalized. Script for Jessica Jones season 2 has been finalized. They started writing season 2 of Luke Cage, and then Iron Fist is later this year. So
Nice.
yeah,
Very
all sorts of
nice.
shit. Oh, speaking of Marvel TV, real quick, they found the actors for Cloak and Dagger.
Oh, who?
It is Aubrey. Hold on, where's it at? Two relatively unknown people. Somewhere here. I probably should have had it up before I started talking about it, but it's okay.
Nah.
Yeah, you
Planning.
can listen
Fuck
to me
that.
scroll. Aubrey Joseph and Olivia Holt are cast as Cloak and Dagger, and that's actually, what they are. Cloak is be played by Aubrey Joseph, and Olivia Holt will play Dagger. And they're looking to that's a series going to be on Disney XD, I think is what they're calling it. It's live action, and it's going to be released in 2018 is the target for it.
Weird. So it's like a kids.
Sort of, because Disney XD is going to start, because they got rid of ABC Family and turned it into Freeform,
Yeah. Okay.
which is its own little thing. It's got a whole bunch of other stuff on it. Disney wants to do like a 2-stage shows on Disney XD, so they'll have their kids stuff, and then the primetime hours will be more for teenagers.
Okay.
And that's where Cloak and Dagger is gonna fall into, and that's also
Interesting.
gonna be like Big Hero 6 is gonna fall in there. The new Tangled show is gonna fall in there. They have another one too that's in that same realm.
Interesting.
That's the Big Hero 6 and the Tangled series are animated, but they're gonna be in that
Yeah.
more for the teenagers, but kids can still watch it type thing. So
Gotcha.
it'll be interesting to see
Interesting.
what happens. Peter Capaldi's leaving Doctor Who after the season. If you guys didn't see that,
Nah, but it makes sense. He's what, 3 seasons in?
this will be his third. Yeah.
Yeah, and lately that's been on par for the Doctors.
Yeah.
About 3 to 4 seasons, because I think
You guys have any picks for the next one?
I think they need to go in a different direction. It'd be nice to see a lady.
it'd be nice to see. Like, I've always wondered what like a doctor from a different country would seem like. So
Yeah.
like an American.
I can't remember where I saw it. Someone said they'd like to see. Remember, well, you guys never watched Lost though, right?
I watched most
Remember
of it.
Zaid?
Yeah.
Someone put his name in there. I thought that would be pretty good, because he's very charismatic and
Very interesting. Yeah.
Has
Yeah.
an accent, but it's something it's still English, so he's gonna have that. I mean, obviously, Peter Capaldi had to soften his Irish or his Scottish accent, same as David Tennant, because neither of them are from England.
No.
But they had to soften their accents for it, so he could. But he has an English accent because he's from the Britons.
Let's make it Idris Elba.
Might as well. Fuck it. They're not gonna give him James Bond.
Right.
Did we talk about James Bond on here
Yeah, we talked about it a long
last
time
week?
ago.
No, did we talk about the new thing that I read online last week?
No.
Real
Nope.
quick, we'll end on this one. So, right now, Daniel Craig. I know we talked about Daniel Craig not wanting to come back for another one unless they just throw a shit ton of money at him.
Which
But
is
then
not what he said, so don't freak out. But
yeah, that's just what he's. But he said he didn't want to come back without the director. What's his name? The guy who did the Harry Potter movies.
Which
matter.
one? Because that doesn't narrow it down.
The one that gave the most. But he said he didn't want to come back without him because that's kind of who made those movies the way they were.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. I think it was Cracked had an article. You know,
Okay.
they're not usually the best source of stuff that's not humorous,
Yeah.
but every now and then they have pretty good insight on stuff. And Idris Elba's name was thrown in, but the guy who wrote the articles and did the video, said something that's actually really clever. I thought would be fun, is do one shots. So if you remember the old James Bond movies, so everything before Pierce Brosnan, even a little bit of Pierce Brosnan, the movies were essentially capsulated adventures. They didn't link to each other.
No, they didn't. The only link was the main character, James Bond.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So with Sean Connery, every movie was its own thing. You didn't
Yeah.
have to watch the movie before to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan kind of broke that a little bit because the events that happened in GoldenEye led to things that happened in other ones, but not directly. It's just
Yeah.
like James Bond did shit, which made this shit to this shit to this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With Daniel Craig's Bond series, from start to finish, they led into each other.
Yeah.
So the events of Casino Royale were what brought Spectre to its endpoint,
Yeah.
which is cool because it's kind of lines those in like the one big story, but like their own, except for Quantum of Solace is kind of threw in there as like a part 2 or like a point 5, I should say.
Yeah.
But what sucked about the ending of Craig's is Bond leaves, he quits, but Spectre gets formed.
Yeah.
So what the Christoph Waltz character becomes Blofeld, who is essentially one of the big guys in that, you know, in the bad guys in Spectre. But they form him, he gets the dead eye and the scar and becomes more of a villain because his cat gets blown up, that sort of thing. So they end on that where technically that should have been started in Casino Royale. So that guy should have become Blofeld, and then the movie should have progressed with Spectre being the main bad guys through the whole thing. So what the guy in Cracked said, and I can't remember who it was, is one of them. He said he'd like to see more of that one shot where every single movie might be played by a different person and might be directed by a different person, but it would be a James Bond story in its own. So you wouldn't have that link. And I think he said, he brought up a very good point. He said he thinks it would make for a more compelling franchise in a way because it's every single one would feel fresh and new.
Yeah.
The problem with that is he said he'd like to see a new person every time. I think that would just be too hard to find a good person every single time.
I would think if you want to do something like that, you do something like Star Wars, where you have your main 007, James Bond, and you sprinkle in 008, 009, other agents that you can tell other stories.
It would be nice, yeah.
And they don't have to survive. They can just be killed off, and that's it.
I thought it would be
That's the
good
story.
to say like, hey, you know, Idris Elba, how you want to do this? Let's do a 3-picture deal. You do 3 movies, but these 3 movies are standalone movies from each other. Yes, you are James Bond, and that's the link between those 3 movies. And yes, we have the same M. Because I mean, even from like the old school movies, you have the same M, you have the same Moneypenny, but the what happened in Moonraker didn't affect what happened in, you know,
Yeah.
in the next one. You know what I mean? Like it didn't really go through. And we're not talking like a George Lazenby kind of reboot every time because he was terrible. But like do a 3-picture deal, so it's an easy 3 movies because a trilogy is good for, you know, a good 5-6 years. Do a movie every 2 years, and that actor can move on to do other stuff. Because you mean Daniel Craig, if you don't do the math, the dude did 4 movies, and he played that role for 10 years.
Yeah.
Shit, dude, that's a lot of fucking movies. Like, that's a lot of time eaten up for just 4 movies. You know what I mean? So, like, oh, Joe's getting booty call.
I wish.
I'd
be like, let's
gotta
end this
go.
now. Go.
Gotta go. All right. Run out of tape. Let's go. So I think it'd be good, like, just do a 3-picture deal. Because that's how Pierce Brosnan started.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, hey, we want to relaunch James Bond. And they came out the gate fucking swinging with GoldenEye. Like, GoldenEye was fucking, it's still one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so good.
Mm-hmm.
You got 006 in there and fucking Aaron Eckhart being a dickbag. Like,
it was a really good movie to
or
just
Sean Bean,
because
sorry,
you hadn't
right.
had a James Bond since the early 80s at that point.
Yeah.
So it had been a while.
I think it was 12 years, I think they said it was.
They came out and it was like, oh, this is fantastic.
And it was so James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of them after that were so not James Bond because they tried to do so much ridiculous shit in it.
You started focusing more on the gadgets.
Yeah. Which should always be a subset of what happens in it. The gadgets aren't the star. It's not called Q's fucking, experiments.
Yeah.
It's James Bond. It's 007. He's supposed to be manipulating those tools to do what James Bond fucking does, blow up a fucking warehouse and walk away.
Yeah.
Drive a tank through a fucking library onto a moving train. Yes.
It's more of his resourcefulness with the stuff that he's given.
Yep. Yeah.
Instead of the stuff that he's given just so happened to be that thing that solves the thing at the time, like the invisible car.
Yeah. With
or,
the ice spikes that come out of the tires.
Yeah, the ice spikes that comes out of the tires. It's very much so Batman who has everything in his utility belt that could solve every...
Getting attacked by a shark.
Here's shark repellent.
That sort of thing, yeah.
Exactly.
He has to be like, oh, I have this watch that can shoot a laser. I need to cut a hole in this train.
Let's do that.
That's what it's actually designed for, but fuck it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. This wire on my watch is not supposed to fucking hold 2 people.
Yeah.
Let's see if that's actually true or not.
We're gonna try it.
You look like you're light enough, lady.
Yeah.
Do you see Spider-Man?
I did.
Nice. So I think it'd be cool. 3-picture deal. Do it a spec thing where like 1 guaranteed movie, and then 2 other movies. That way you don't have to focus on trying to write the other 2 movies. You can just be like, yo, we're going to spread this through. And if the first one doesn't do well, axe it. We're like, fine, we'll start over. We'll start fresh. I think some of the comments that I read in the thing was like, that confuse audiences. I'm like, it's going to confuse audiences no matter what.
Yeah.
Because the next James Bond movie they come out with, if it doesn't have Daniel Craig, they're like, this guy looks nothing like Daniel Craig. Like, how am I supposed to believe this is Daniel Craig?
Well, I think James Bond might be the one exception to that rule since we already have 47 different James Bonds. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, 47, but yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I don't think that's gonna be the Batman like where's Christian Bale thing.
Yeah, Batfleck doesn't look like Christian Bale at all. Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe not. But
We'll see.
People are dumb. That's all I'm saying.
yeah.
And those are the ones you have to worry about because they're the ones that won't go see movies because of stuff like that. Not to put Eric on blast, but Eric is one of those people where he like gets confused easily about why stuff changes. He's like, why isn't Eric Bana still the Hulk?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, first off, he was in a
Is that
terrible Hulk
really
movie. That's the thing he said to me once.
in real life?
Yeah, in like real life.
He's fired.
And then he's like, I kind of like that movie. I was like, ugh. The only good thing about that movie is the cameos from fucking Lou Ferrigno and Stan Lee.
Right.
Other than that, fucking garbage.
Hulk dogs.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
Jesus Christ.
Poodles, nonetheless.
Yeah, I know, right? Couldn't fucking Rottweilers or fucking.
Hey guys, I got
Dobermans?
a big idea for the big final fight scene. We're gonna have them fight lightning.
Lightning. Yeah, exactly.
What? Well, like a monster that shoots lightning? No, lightning.
Actual lightning.
Just strikes the lightning.
After he buries who played his dad? Was it Nick Nolte, right?
Yeah.
After he buries his dad in the mountain, he's gonna fight a lightning storm from space.
I like it. Let's make that movie.
And then we'll make another movie with Superman where he fights a spider. Speaking of which, what's my movie?
I didn't bring it again.
That's it for me. Oh, Mr. Mercedes. Speaking of looking at Stephen King books, Mr. Mercedes is being adapted.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
very interesting.
They have cast. I can look it up. I'm not gonna.
I still just want to see the Dark Tower.
That's true.
Yeah,
That may be a fucking just a mess.
I hope.
But
not.
that's if you're doing your counts correctly, that's 2 Stephen King movies this year.
Dang.
I just want some. Well, I just want somebody to do it right, but no one's going to be able to make that book the book. Like,
No,
there's so much shit that happens in that,
just so much inane shit that is awesome in the books.
but trying to translate that into screen
Just because there's so much. Stephen King's one of those writers.
doesn't give a fuck.
He does not give fucks at all. Like no, like he doesn't know what giving a fuck actually means.
Mm-mm.
He just gets his weird fucking ideas in his head and just extrapolates on them.
Mm-hmm.
But his writing is very, and I can say this because I've read several of them now. He has so many things that happen internally.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll just use the Dark Tower stuff as an example. With Roland, all the shit that goes on in his head that you hear, the exposition that you hear, that you read, that he's
It's
thinking
very
or what's
important
happening.
to the story.
Very important to the story. But you come to the part where, like Batman movies, you can't have that disembodied voice when you have that person on screen because people get super confused on why he's talking when his mouth's not moving.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I mean, there's so much of that. Not just from Roland. That's just an example because Roland's obviously in the books all the way through.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but there's other parts that tell other people's parts. Like Eddie, for example, in the drawing of the 3.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much internal monologue in all 3 of those characters, and the Man in Black, that character when you're inside their heads, that you could not do on screen.
Yeah.
Very easily, because it's 2 voices competing when neither of them are talking. You don't see either of them on screen. And when you do, it's a silhouette of one. Like I imagine would be a silhouette of one looking through the eyes of the other one. So you don't see them talking. You would see like a third person who's just someone they're looking at.
Yeah.
And you're like, that would destroy people's brains.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, the fuck are we looking at? Like, who's talking right now? You have to have a face talking or someone directly hearing it, but you're not, because you'd hear Roland talk, but it would be a thought to the person whose head he's inside, but not to the person they're looking at.
Yeah.
So it'd be super fucking hard to do.
Yeah.
But I do want to see those crab creatures.
Oh,
Gotta
the
check.
lobstrop-
Gotta check. Yeah, lobstropsies.
Oh.
Things are fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
And they're not big. Like, I remember when I first started that book, I thought they were bigger than what they were.
Mm-mm.
But they're just large lobsters.
Yeah. That's it.
But like their claws are so super sharp and powerful. They literally just one chop just fucking chops his fingers off.
I really want to tell you the ending. The ending is so fucked up.
I don't want you to tell me.
I know, but it's just like
I'll get through all 9,000 books.
God, Stephen King just loves fucking with his protagonists.
Oh yeah, no. He again, no fucks are given by that gentleman.
No.
He doesn't get, if you like a character, he will ruin that person for you.
Yep.
In the worst way. And he won't George R.R. Martin you.
Nope.
He won't kill him off.
Nope.
He will just fucking turn them from what you think they are.
Yep.
Or do something that irreparably changes how that character is for the rest of your fucking time. Like Susanna.
Yes.
Susanna is one person who used to be 2 people.
Because she splits personality.
Yep. But then they merge them, but then she's a completely different person.
Yes.
So she's literally 3 people who are in one body, but never know each other are there.
At the beginning, towards the end of the book, like she has a realization of when Data takes over.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but
Just some of the things.
But to some of the things, yeah, and she can even kind of use that to a certain extent. Yeah. Finish those books.
Yeah.
I need somebody to talk to about the ending, because the ending is fuck, dude.
That happens. All right, and that's seriously it for this episode, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody got something else real quick?
Nope.
Nope.
No. All right, cool. That's it for this week's episode, and it comes naturally. We are
Joe,
Mike.
I am Cody, and as usual, you fucks just came naturally.